It's now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe, and we begin with security matters here at home, as the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, is set to work with Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia on tackling the security challenges there following last week's attacks that killed over 70 people. Meeting at the Benue State Government House in Makurdi, he delivered President Bola Tinubu's message of hope while assuring of federal support to tackle the killings and arrest perpetrators. Arise correspondent Theophilus Tiav has more.
For over a decade, communities in Benue State have come under frequent attacks by armed gunmen suspected to be herders, bandits, and local militias, resulting into the death of many and the displacement of thousands from their ancestral homes and farmlands. Benue now has 17 internet displaced persons camps across the state.
But believing that though we are crying today, our tomorrow will be well.
National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu is visiting Benue State to commiserate with the government, the people, and to engage key stakeholders on lasting solutions to the state's security challenges. He assures of President Tinubu's resolve to halt the killings.
This is a trying period for all of us. It's a moment of sorrow. And this is when you will know those who are with you. We are 100% with you. It's a tragedy, it's evil that has visited Benue State. We want to give you the assurance, Your Excellency, that the federal government of Nigeria is with you. We will work together. We will address this problem together. We will fight and we will defeat it.
Benue Governor, in his remarks, highlighted the impact of the insecurity on food production that threatens national food security.
Benue counts as #1 producer of yams in the entire world, and that is our headquarters where we have the yams. So if we're talking about food insecurity in the nation, and right home here we're experiencing its shortage, then it means it's not a good omen. The attacks have been very persistent and continuous.
Traditional rulers in the state lament the decade-long horrors that have plagued communities with no end in sight.
Myself and the senator sitting, my son, Senator Zan, we have no settlement, we have no village, we have no home. It has been ransacked, ravaged, and we are left in ruin, and we are scattered, living in desolate camps, penned up as IDPs. Your Excellency, I'm a monarch in charge of 15 districts. As I'm talking to you, we have only nothing but we have congealed in the headquarters of the local government. Simply tell Mr. President, here in Benue, there is a legislation against open grazing, and we have activated that. I want the federal government to accentuate on it.
For the past 15 years, we have stopped farming. We have stopped going to school. No medical facilities. Our markets are shut down. The economy is shut down.
With President Tinubu's assurance delivered through his National Security Advisor, residents of Benue State are hopeful that words will translate into tangible results in the fight against insecurity, allowing farmers to return to their farmlands and helping to avert food insecurity in the country. Theophilus Tiav, Arise News.
All right, well, that's an update, a situation report from Benue State. Adefemi, it's encouraging to see the stakeholders coming together and to see the National Security Advisor step in on the ground as well.
Absolutely. I mean, throughout this period, we've been talking about leadership and how the people in these affected areas are definitely going to want to see the highest echelons of Nigeria's political landscape and government be able to come out and talk to them about what plans they have, what type of solidarity they can offer the people and the government. So it is good to see this type of unity there. But I think if we scratch beyond the surface, there's definitely going to be a bit more that the people of these affected communities are going to want to see from their leadership. That being being said, I think that it's a lot of state governors, and we do know that the Nigerian Governors Forum will be meeting later on today. It is clear that they are very much in a very difficult position, I'd imagine. You've got people clearly looking for leadership, people clearly looking for guidance and advice on what they need to do to protect themselves. You've got advice on the one hand saying perhaps people should start to take up arms, but then of course that begins and begets the fear of anarchy and of extrajudicial killings, which clearly we do not want. And then you also have certain governors talk about how they're going to start targeting certain troublemakers in communities, referring to them as area boys. And I guess on the surface, you could commend those types of movement, but you also don't want to facilitate a situation where people could be discriminated against. So I know that we'll get into it later on in the show, but to have, a governor talk about how he's going to ban certain hairstyles as though a hairstyle dictates someone's poor behavior or is a marker of a troublemaker, I just don't think that these are the areas that people should be putting effort into when you're trying to tackle a menace like insecurity. But also, as I said, I can sympathize that when you're looking at how to tackle anarchy on the ground, terrible situations, deadly situations, it feels as though you're damned if you do something, you're damned if you don't do something. So, taking a step back and looking at Nuhu Ribadu's visit and his conversations to the Benue State Governor, I think it can be commended. We will, of course, be speaking to Governor Hyacinth Alia himself in order to hear in his own words what challenges he faces, what type of support he needs in order to continue to do the work for the people of Benue, and whether or not he feels up to the task. I think that that's definitely a valid question to ask these governors. Are you able to continue to do the job as governor, to lead your country, lead your communities, lead your states in this way at a time like this? I would be quite keen to hear what the governor has to say.
Absolutely. Dr. Abati.
Okay. I would like to reduce this subject to a series of points. One, the National Security Advisor visiting Benue and saying that President Tinubu, who had disappeared off the radar for a number of days, 21 days or thereabouts, that he has given him the mandate to ensure and reassure the people of Benue State that, look, security will be enforced. I think that is important. It's not only about Benue State, there's also Plateau State, there's also Borno State, where, during the absence of the President of Nigeria, there were issues. So the Nigerian government waking up, insisting, saying that, look, the government of Nigeria has a responsibility to ensure the safety, the welfare, the security of anybody in any part of Nigeria, whether it's Benue or it is Plateau or it is, Zamfara or elsewhere, Gombe. I think Gombe State was also part of that narrative. I think it's important, and I think that Malam Ribadu has done the right thing by making the right statements. That's the first one. The second point has to do with what has been emerging from Niger State. Mohamed Bago, the governor of Niger State, has raised a very important question about the role of governors in this matter. In his own case, yesterday, I think that the state government issued a statement saying, look, we're taking certain measures about the role of state governments. And one of the things that Governor Bago said is that people who have dreadlocks, or if you see anybody with dreadlocks in Niger State, that person should be arrested. But Section 42 of the Nigerian Constitution talks about you don't discriminate against anybody. if you like, we can wear dreadlocks. But I have it on good authority that this is about a certain cartel, a certain criminal, association in Niger State, which, Senator Bago is trying to address. Senator Bago has a reputation as a man who is the farmer governor, supporting agriculture and all of that. But security is a major issue in Niger State, the largest territory, as it will appear, in Nigeria. And they have no borders. They have issues, with people coming into Niger State. So that big issue is there. But the issue is that in Niger State, we have a governor, Mohamed Bago, who is saying, well, as governor, I can address these issues. There are details about him saying, okay, he would restrict Keke Marwa, he would do something about drug, he would do something about rape and kidnapping and all of that. So this is one governor who has shown up to say, look, governors can play a role, and governors can insist on security in their states. My only problem with this is that whether it is in Benue, or it is in Plateau, or it is in Borno State, these governors, do they even have the powers? Because there is this lingering conversation about state police. What is the limit? What is the threshold for the governor of a state, emphasizing their powers and saying they want to secure their people? The principle is neat, but the operationalizing of it within the context of Nigerian laws and relationship with the federal government is what is very vague. But to return to the original point about President Tinubu coming back to Nigeria, we said yesterday here on this same platform that, look, President Tinubu has to worry about insecurity. So when Malam Nuhu Ribadu goes to Niger State and he says, look, President Tinubu has asked me to emphasize the point that he is committed to addressing insecurity. We agree with the government. President Tinubu, we said yesterday on this platform, has to address issues, particularly about insecurity in this country, now that he is back. He may have personal issues with whatever is going on in his party, the CPC wing, the APC wing. We said all of that yesterday. And we made, it was informed opinion. It was not stupid opinion. It was informed opinion for the benefit of the deaf and the dumb who are always arguing with us on this program. And we say, we sit here and we will say what we have to say. So the president has a major responsibility now that he is back and gagging us on this platform. No, it's not acceptable. We say it as it is. If people are tired of we saying it as it is, that option is up to them.
Absolutely. We remain fair and balanced and bold in making sure we bring it as it is. Very well said, Dr. Abati. Now, it is a welcome development to see that the National Security Advisor has gone into the grassroots to engage with not just the governor. We saw stakeholders also coming together. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, the Plateau State Governor also convened stakeholders, regardless of political lines, ethnic lines, religious affiliation. He brought all stakeholders together. So this is a welcome development in us understanding what the real situation on the ground is as we seek to find solutions. My appeal today, my primary appeal today, is a humanitarian one. We heard one of the speakers at the stakeholder meeting with the Benue State Governor speaking about communities are scattered. You can only imagine, because these terrorists are coming to displace. So we now have massive numbers of communities, massive numbers of women, children, the vulnerable, who have been displaced from their homes and are living in IDP camps. What is the state of the IDP camps? We're yet to hear a full humanitarian report of the real community impact. We're yet to hear how many people have been displaced, although I can imagine that it would be difficult to count those numbers, as clearly the communities are under siege. But if we don't have those numbers, then we now have to ask ourselves, what is happening to those who have been displaced? How are they being provided for? How are their needs being met as they have lost all property, and livelihood? So that's my first call today. The second call is to appreciate the appeal for unity. Now, we've had several conversations about whether the duty lies with the federal government, whether the duty lies at the state level with the governors and so forth, all with their own merit. But one thing that's very clear now is that this is not an effort that can be made in a silo. The governors cannot do it alone, same as the federal cannot do it alone either, because there are intricacies in the communities that are needed. A collaborative effort is required at this time. So I'm glad to see that politics has taken the back door, because the last thing that we need is for this crisis to be politicized. What is important is for us to get the facts on the ground and to understand how solutions can be found. I continue to reiterate my call to the Ministry of Livestock, because there was a 10-year plan that was instituted with regards to seeing how we can begin to create areas, designated grazing areas for herdsmen, so that we can tell the difference. We can differentiate between the genuine herdsmen and those who are now being infiltrated by criminality and perpetuating acts of terrorism. So I do reiterate that call, that ultimately one of the major things that needs to be done is the commitment that was made, that we would address this issue of herdsmen and trying to contain those who are genuine and flush out those who are not. All right, well, we'll now go live to St. Peter's Basilica, where Pope Francis's body is being moved to this morning. He will lie in state for 3 days to allow Catholic faithful to pay their final respects ahead of the funeral. The ceremony of translation, moving the body from the Santa Maria Chapel to St. Peter's Basilica, is led by Camerlengo or Chamberlain Kevin Farrell. The body will lie in state until Friday, when the public mourning will end in preparation for the funeral on Saturday morning. Currently live from the Vatican as we're watching the procession as Pope Francis's body is being moved from the Santa Maria Chapel to the St. Peter's Basilica. Of course, we now see that they've entered the St. Peter's Square where mourners are gathered and paying their respects. People are taking their pictures and videos and so forth. The choir began the procession singing Psalm 22 as we also heard the bells ringing in the background. This is the beginning of the final journey home of Pope Francis.